So we stopped at when having this triggers set for the grades report that are going to be updating the average. Now I'd like to do something about the grade. Yes, I will run it. So now actually we want to do something is that the grade that is inserted here, we don't want to accept it unless it respects some rules. And the rules are, we want them to be not negative, and it should be less than max grade. Actually, for now, with simplicity, we said let's use out of 100, so it's going to be simple. We don't need to do a lot of thinking about it. So now, this is about to be not negative, and not greater than 100. So where should we do these kind of things? In a trigger where, of course, we need to be into one of these ones. So actually, after insert, when I insert something, after updating the average, actually it should be before updating the average, because but there are now two things to do. First of all, I need to decide what should I do before putting it in an if statement. What should I do with the grade if it doesn't respect the condition? There are two cases. Either I put 0 or prevent this whole insertion from continuing, or cancel that selection. Well, if I would like to do it, let's say 0, that would be the easiest one. It's quite then. Maybe I need to do it after the insert. After it was inserted, let's check then and do something, which can be also before it was inserted. It can be a different timing, so it doesn't. I can just leave this one as it is, and then go for before insert, for example. Before insert, and I create another trigger just before the before insert. And then in that one, I'm just going to be putting something that is going to make it 0. So how to make it 0? First of all, I need to put an if. Test if this new.grade, if it's less than 0, or this grade new.grade is greater than 100, then set the new grade 0. And if. That's it. Else? Should I do something?
Yes.
What should I do in the else?
Call the routine.
Okay, if you tell me call the routine, that means I'm going to remove it from here, from the after insert, because now I'm having something that is done before the insert and something that is done after the insert. So if I'm doing something after the insert that is called update, and I put it also here, call update, then
You don't need the else step.
okay, so I don't need that. So actually, why having these two? I can have only actually one trigger. Why having like two triggers? It should be like more. I don't know how they will behave, so I just can do something like this, for example. After it was inserted, if it's like this, then do that. If not, then this is where the else then can be useful. Whatever. So I can do something like that. So else something like this. Will it work? Let's try. First of all, I need to delete this one because it's just like an empty. Well, let's remove it. We don't want it anymore. And then let's just forward engineer.
Wait, before you now after insertion, isn't it the value gonna be old or new?
No, insert after or before. There's no old. Regardless if it's before insert or after insert, there's no old value because all old values are null. Before there was nothing in that line. Then there's something in that line. So the record before is null, and then there's a new record. So the old is always null in the insert. The new is then some value. The only time when I'm going to be having something old and new at the same time is with the update, because I have something old and something new. With the delete, I don't have anything new. I have only old. So that's the thing. So well, for now, let's just test that. When we have this insert, after it was inserted, we're going to be doing something, checking if it's the grade is respecting a condition. If it does respect, I mean, if it's less than 0 or greater than 100, we can just do something about whatever it is. Now what we're doing, just put 0. We can do a lot of different kind of things. If it's less than 0, we can make it positive, for example. If it's greater than 100, just make it 100 or whatever. But now we just, for simplicity, just put it 0 and don't care about the rest. So let's see it working. Now, of course, if you put 0, it's going to sink down the average, which this is not our problem because this can be corrected later on in the update when we update the value. And we have something that does the update and it takes the old and then do the new calculations. So it's okay. That's it. If you put it 0, I mean, what do you mean? If you put it as 0,
here we will not update the average if we correct the enter part. If the value is less than 0.
you're right. Oh, you're right. This is not going to be calculating the average. That's true. So actually, we need to fix this. So the point is, I just would like to make sure that everybody understood, because this passed everyone without noticing. What we were doing here is that once somebody gives us like a negative number of 0, actually a negative number, for example, or some number greater than 100, we're going to set the new grade to be 0, but are we going to be calculating the new average? No, because we did not call that. We're going to call it only if the number is corrected, is respecting the 0 and 100 interval. So what we need to do is just, regardless of whether we found that it respects the rule or it didn't respect the rule, in all cases we're going to be calculating the average. So the only thing is that we calculate the average with a grade that is negative or not. Before we were accepting negative numbers and calculating the average based on that negative number. Now we're not including that negative number. If it was negative, we'll make it 0 and then we calculate the average.
But this way it's going to calculate the 0.
Of course, the 0 is included in the average, which means the average is going down.
But we want to prevent this from happening.
Well, there's a,
The value is unrealistic.
so now there's the other option, but let's try this. The other option is to raise an exception and prevent this from happening at the first place, and just drop the whole record. We don't want this record to be added at all because there's a problem. So first let's just make this, and then let's just make it better by doing something else. Let's just forward engineer, Control G, and okay, I think this is fine. We just hit next. I think that's, there was something here. So there is some problem with this error 1362.
1362.
what is the problem?
Did you change the
362 says what? Well, I thought maybe you should add SQL or MySQL. Okay, so what do we get? 5.7, so we can see it. This is the version that is installed. Let's try to understand what is this kind of error message. We said it's the 1362. Updating a %s row is not allowed in %s trigger. It seems like there's a bug, because this %s should be something. Updating a table row is not allowed in a table trigger, something like that. So this is error can change row. I think that's so this is saying that there is a problem with this syntax, because it says we're trying to change a value after it was already been inserted. Would it make more sense if this is going to be done, I mean, before insert? Okay, let's try something. Let's just shift this code. Let's even if I change this from, will it just correct it for me? No, it doesn't seem to. If I enter with the left table, what? Somewhere else. All right. So now it's worked. Now this before insert. Okay, thanks. Let's try to see if this is because we just inserted. It passed this time. So what was the problem then? What is the difference between before and after? Before, it's somewhere saved in a temporary place and it's about to be saved inside of the table. After means it's already in the table and now we just what we would like to do. So it will be more logical that for what we want to do, the value, we don't want to save it until we check if it respects some condition. So we need to do this before even we insert this new record. So that's why they are preventing us from doing a change of something, because new value is a value that was entered, but it's not the one that is now inside of the table, because it was already inserted. So that's why they, in order to prevent this, they prevented this from happening, from changing the value after it was inserted. But before it was inserted, it is okay. Let's just test it if it's still okay to work with that. I mean, we still need to include those ones, and we don't need to update on everything. It's just we'll put the first one, and then the other one let's put -90, because this is going to be not respecting the condition. Let's run everything, and it says 1.4. We have an error message. When we try to run this one, we have error message. First of all, it's just, do we have something? Let's just see inside. Let's just see everything inside, and then before and after. So this is before. We have student 1 exists, and then the courses and the assessment and then we'd like to enter 111. Do we have assessment 1? We do. Do we have course number 1? We do. And do we have student number 1? We do. So this line that says that there's a problem with it, it seems that is... So now there's the problem in the trigger. Let's follow what's happening down in the trigger that might raise some problems. Sorry?
When you update the
Update should be after.
we do it as after.
Update the average after the.
So now we have a problem. This calculation exactly of the average is trying to be done while we didn't even insert this new one. So maybe it makes more sense to have it after. Okay. So are we going to be having some code that is before, some code after?
But if the grade was 0, it will calculate.
But if the grade was 0,
It will calculate into the average.
actually before the grade, if the grade was 0, it will be changed to normally yes, it will calculate the average because this will make it false. Is 0 less than 0? No. So this is going to become false. And is 0 greater than 100? No. So both of them false. So this is not going to be doing anything.
Could we do put a flag? Like
What
say
do you want to?
0 minus 1?
What do you want to do? Because you want to accept 0 as a value, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then put
Instead of putting 0, we put minus 1.
okay. So the
One will accept 0.
minus 1 will accept 0.
Go down, set new grade equal minus 1.
Oh, you want to set to minus 1, just to distinguish between the fact that the 0 that was entered or the minus 1 that... Okay, let's put it minus 1. Because actually I'm going to change this and do something even better, just prevent the whole record from being inserted. So let's try it now with this. So what we did, where is it? We just moved the test of, we checked what the grade was entered before it's inserted in the table, and then after it is inserted we do just the calculation of the average. Yes? The minus 1 is the idea of, because if somebody enters 0 as a grade because some student might have 0 for whatever reason, it is not going to be distinguishable between the fact that someone entered a grade which is minus 5 is going to be having the grade switch back to 0. And then we're not going to be knowing for a specific user, for a specific student, if that 0 means because we entered the wrong grade and then we ended up having 0, or because he actually had 0. So that's why they put, okay, like minus 1 to say, okay, minus 1 means there was a mistake and we accept this to be like a mistake entry. Or 0 means that actually he got 0. So that's the idea. But again, this is like minor for the understanding because we just would like to cancel that entry in a way. So this is one way to do that. Okay, just quickly, let's just erase the time and alhamdulillah, fine. Let's go back here and try to run it again. Now it seems to be working. So the problem of trying to change it was one of them in the before and after. And doing the calculation of something that was still even before was having some problems. So now this is how it was before: 0, 0, 0 for the students, and then after 34.5 because actually it's 70 and with minus 1.
Also, we should put it in the update.
Also,
The correction.
in the update, of course, yes, you're right. So we need to do the same thing in the update. Yeah.
But,
Routine is better.
Sorry.
Routine.
Well, of course, this is going to be well.
after maybe after we got a condition, if it is minus 1, you know, from calculation.
If it is mine, I didn't get that one.
After put, insert,
After insert,
yes.
Yeah.
We got a condition if the grade the new was -1. We ignore the data range.
Oh, you want to avoid this? Okay, then actually you don't need to do that. We can just do it from here, inside the routine. If you would like to exclude that one, then you need to do it from here, for example. In this average, update average. If I can make it bigger. So now, for example, but the problem is you need to calculate then the average manually, because what we're doing here, we just give me everything from the table. And now if you'd like to single out this -1, it's more processing. You have to use something that is called the cursor, because you need to read the query, and then whatever it is -1, you check it out, and that's more processing.
To prevent that.
So to prevent is much safer solution. So how to prevent something from happening? Well, first of all, we need to do the same thing for the before update, because before the update we need to double check that if the grade was 0. So because we need to do the same processing again, we should put this into a routine and then call it from there. Let's just create another one, and then let's call it check grade. And in the check grade, we need to take as the input a grade, and it's an int, right? Is it? No, it's a double. And then inside I'm going to be doing just the same thing, except that instead of having new grade, now it's just the name, but grade, it might be misleading. You might think that this is the column. Just to make sure that you understand, this is not the column. This is just a variable that is used the parameter. Let's just v grade, so you can just make sure that there is no confusion over the grade. But now we have a thing. We have a problem. We said that this is just an input, and now we're using it to change this. We need to change its value. Input means we just take the value in, and then we work with it, and then we don't return it. Now we need to return that value out.
Internal.
So actually there's maybe one way in out. One way to do this is to say that this variable is used to take the information from in and out. And this is like the easiest way. The other way is just to say, like one in and use another one out, and then check this and send it there. But the in out, I mean, this is one possibility that probably did not know, because I just told you that there was an in and out. But there's some kind of cases where the in outs is some choice that we might have. So which means now just whatever you give me is going to also get changed if it needs to be changed. So now this check grade, I can use it in the other. Here, instead of having this, I'm going just to use check grade with this new grade. And I need to use call. All right? Let's copy this, and we can use it also before update, because before update we want to do the same thing. We'd like to check the grade, and then if it's the grade that was changed is not respecting the rules, we're going to make it respect the rules. And then after the update, we're going to be, of course, calculating the average. Shall we try? And then we go back here. First of all, let's just try the same thing to see if it still works. We don't need this before and after anymore. It's just run and get the after. if I can. So now you see that this is the -1 that was entered, and then this is like the thing that was changed. Okay, let's do something. Let's update even the first one, the grade. Let's update set grade equal -2 for just the first one. ID assessment, no, 1. So I'm going to change this one over here. This record, I'm going to change 70 to -2. Normally, what I should see, it should see -1 here, right? And then the average, of course, should be -1 because -1 and -1, the average is -1. So let's just run. Oh, because I just ran everything I shouldn't have. Just run this line over here, and then run the rest. So I have this, both of them -1, -1. The most important thing, see also, this also is calculating the average. So that's concludes the version with the trying to put like a flag or like a way to represent like this is a wrong entry. Now how can we generate an exception before, if something is wrong, we would like to stop from entering this record. And actually there's something that needs, I don't remember the syntax of it, so I'm just going to be googling it again. SQL prevent okay, first of all, trigger prevent record insertion or insert. It's good to prevent under certain conditions, and this is what I want. This is not the one that I've seen. How to abort? Probably this is the one I've seen before. And okay, so the solution is to do something like this exactly. So the signal, this is mainly what needs to be done. So okay, let's copy this and put it there somewhere. Okay, first of all, we need to understand that this should not be before. Sorry, the after is not needed anymore. Now it's before that I need to check if there's a problem. I'm going to be preventing it from happening. So this check-in now, instead of checking it here, well, I can just keep it here. Oh yeah, I can just keep the check grade. I can put it in a routine, yes. Just you can call it. But let's try it before that. Just give it something. Let's just understand what this is all about. First of all, this is like just a text that you're going to see wrong, for example, wrong grade. What you would like to display as the text of the error message, like the exception detail. And then this signal is that like this is the exception. You raise like an exception. This is the code of the exception that you might raise, and this is the text of the message. Let's just try now to have the same thing. Before the insertion, instead of just checking, I'm just going to be doing this, preventing from happening. It's just run again everything. Oh, that's good. Now every time I'm trying to insert, it's going to block me, right? So actually this is, yeah, I forgot to put the condition. This actually, instead of doing this, I should change this and put it in the routine. And oh, here, because now every time I would like to insert, it will prevent it from happening. So I don't want to do that. I would like it to be only and the routine that is here. So instead of having this set grade to be -1, and I'm going just to do this. Of course, this now grade now doesn't need to be in out. I'm just leaving it for as a comment for you to remember. But even if I put it in out, it will not bother because I'm not changing it anyways, but I'm just getting what is inside of it, and it gives me the possibility to change it if I want. So now what I'm doing is just I'm testing this condition. If this condition is met, I'm going to stop to raise an exception to stop the process. Let's just run again. Normally I don't have to run everything. I just need to drop this procedure and create a new one. But just because of I'm just lazy to go there and do it myself, copy and paste. Just it's much easier to drop everything. All right, let's now go back to here, and we don't need this for now. So normally now when we're trying to enter this one, I will not be able to. So let's try first of all to execute everything, and you can see that the first one was okay, but the second one was try to get something, but then I'm seeing that there's error code and with the message that I personally put there. So it says wrong grade. So it stopped the insertion and it did not go through. And if I just display the average, it was not affected. So because I'm gonna have only one record. Yes.
Or is this string that the message you put is passable to a program or an application?
Well, you can. It can come from whatever you want. For example, instead of having this, you can have it from like a parameter, or it can come from whatever you want. Yeah, it can be as the example. What they did something like this. Well, basically, before doing that, they had to declare it. So they have to declare something. Declare a message to be varchar. I don't know, 50, for example, and then. You can set, actually the declare should be here, and then you can set your message to be whatever you want. Wrong grade, entered, and then you can use it something like that. Basically the message is just whatever you want. This is like you're raising an exception. The SQL state 45,000. I don't remember exactly what it means, but it has like it's like an error code. Let's just Google it. I don't remember it exactly. You can change it, I think. Let me just double check, double confirm. Okay, what is raising error conditions with signal and resignal, something like that. Okay. Okay, signal, condition name, and okay. I think this, okay. The second, actually, it's for unhandled user defined. Okay, I think this number can have to be 45,000. Because it says that this is a generic SQL state that represent unhandled user-defined exceptions. So this is like a user-defined exception that you define yourself, and you should use this number. If I use another one, I never tried, but it might not work. Or it might give like it might work, but it might give a wrong error message. Let's just try. Let's try that. Let's try, for example, whatever. I don't know. Normally, there's no such number. Let's see if this is going to pass the forward engineer. I never tried that, so and I'm curious to find out. Okay, so that was one of the problems. So it was not accepted. So the error code is not an error code that is known. Maybe let's put an error code that is known, and maybe to see. Oh, please, can I? Let's just change it from here and see if it's going to be okay. Okay, instead of this, let's just use one of the error codes that we had before, 16322. I don't know if it does exist. Have some 1362. I was not far. 1362. That was one of our last error code. 1362. Let's see if it's going to be accepted. No. So actually, I think it has to be like this for this customized user-defined exceptions. So the advantage of just using it in check grade now, I don't need to change the other this is the advantage of using routines because or procedures, because now this check grade will work also for the update, because it's the same call. Now the way it works is different. So let's just send it back to this 45,000, so it will keep working. Any questions?